Thanks for coming back to episode 8 of the MMANonstop.com podcast with the Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz. MMANonstop.com. The fight starts here.
So, Mark, looking at your career, you've done things really intelligently. You talked about an intelligent move into the UFC, into MMA. And when you moved up to the UFC, your first fight was against Matt Hamill as a light heavyweight, and you immediately dropped down to middleweight. What was the motivation there?
I told my manager that I was contemplating going down to middleweight because watching the 205 pounders, my heavyweight guys, I'm like, man, those guys are cowards, man. They're 6'4", 80-inch reach. Man, I'm only 6 foot, 70-inch reach. And I put myself at a disadvantage if I go into the inside the octagon off those guys. And when the UFC called, they wanted me to fight at 205. And if the opportunity presents itself for me to get in the UFC at 205, I was going to take it. And that's how it happened. And they put me up immediately against Matt Hamill. And I knew right away. I was like, man, this was like I needed to get. This was my opportunity of a lifetime. I need to get in the UFC. And boom, got it. And then from then on, I knew that I needed to get down to 185. So I told my managers, I said, that's it. Let the UFC know that I want to drop down to 185, and they accepted. And from then on, it's been awesome.
Definitely. It seems like, working with your partners and, your training camps, you mentioned all those guys that you work with. It sounds like you've had some pretty strong relationships with those guys. What's your opinion, Mark, on fighting guys from the same camp? And, does that ever, does that concern you? You might have to face somebody that you trained with?
Yeah, we talk about it, and that's something that we'll deal with when it comes. Cross that bridge when it comes. We're there for each other right now with our team, and we know that there's a possibility of fighting each other, and we still respect each other, and it's business. Obviously, if we're fighting each other for a title, that is awesome. We're doing something right.
Sure.
So we look at it differently. I look at it differently. If I fight my training partners, obviously in our camp we're doing something right, because we're doing what it takes to become the best. But we don't. At the same time, we don't want to fight each other. But if it happens, we're professional athletes. It's what we do.
Definitely. About you've been splitting time between King's MMA. You've trained with the guys up from Black House, and obviously your gym, the Ring Training Center. How do you manage to focus on your personal fight preparation as well as splitting that time?
I believe teaching teaches you more than learning from somebody else. Because when somebody teaches me something, I want to be able to regurgitate it and then teach somebody else. And be able to put a spin on it to where I feel that I will remember it. So when I'm learning from all these guys, I'm teaching them as well. I'm teaching them what I do with my wrestling, but at the same time, they're teaching me what it takes for me to improve my style as well. So it's when I train other guys or when we're training together, it's as if I'm training as well, and I go hard with them, and they go hard with me. So, when they're in a training camp, I'm in their same training camp. I don't feel that when I train with them, I lose anything. I actually gain every time I step out there and train with them. So that's how I look at it. And for me to balance all of that, it's all training. The most conflict is being able to spend time with my family and juggling that and owning a business and having my wrestling camp and having my clinic. Those are the things that I'm juggling. But training is training. And this is what I'm doing right now to provide for my family and do everything for my family. And I, thank the Lord that I have their support in this, because without it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Right on.
Yeah, you've talked a lot about teaching and coaching and just getting into that mentor role, and which brings us to an interesting comment that Scott Jorgensen made after he won by KO from the guard this past weekend. He mentioned learning a good ground and pound strategy from you and how he really wants to emulate your fighting style. It's got to be pretty rewarding knowing that you have some of the highest level fighters in the world looking up to you. So do you see yourself going down the coaching career, going down that road in the future?
Oh, for sure. I was a coach before I got into MMA. I was coaching for Oklahoma State, and I got the job at UC Davis.
Sure.
I was getting my master's in sports psychology so that I could be a head coach at a Division I college. That's what I want to be. I feel that I have a greater gift in coaching than I do as a fighter, and I'm able to break things down so that people can understand it and be able to relate to them in a way where I know how they learn. And there's different people that learn different ways, and I'm able to teach in the way that they can learn. So I love coaching. I love teaching. That's what I love to do, and I would love to coach anybody that would want to learn.
Perfect. I think, speaking of coaching and teaching, Dana White has long said that he wants to take, the Ultimate Fighter International. And, he's mentioned the Philippines as one of the first spots. Have you had any discussions with you about this, or do you see something like this happening?
The UFC really didn't talk to me about anything UFC Philippines yet, but I heard some grumbling about me going. So I don't know. It's still up in the air, and don't know if I'm going to be a coach or maybe a special coach. It's either going to be between me or Brandon Vera.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know.
How great would a fight be or an event be in the Philippines? I mean, how much would the fans in the Philippines love that?
It would be awesome. I mean, you see the excitement that they bring with Manny Pacquiao. They fill up stadiums that are 65,000-70,000 people, and the whole country comes and supports their athletes. And for me to be able to do that, I would love to do that. I would love to give back and support the country where my parents came from and where I'm from, and I just that's nothing but make me happier, because that's something that it all started with my family in the Philippines. That's the level I started with my family. So I'd love to get back. So I'd love to go there and do free clinics with them in wrestling or MMA or whatever. I just want to get back if I can, for sure.
Yeah, as far as destinations go, the UFC is finally making a run at Rio, and you've trained with Anderson Silva. You fought Yushin Okami. What are your thoughts on their bout at UFC 134? And are you going to be helping Anderson with his wrestling for that fight?
I'd love to help Anderson. He is in Brazil right now training. I don't know if he wants me to go out there. But at the same time, if he calls me, I would love to go out there. I talked to Ed Choice's manager a little bit from time to time here and there. I talk to Nogueira every once in a while. And if he needs my help, I'm there for him. That's just how it is. And he's the same way with me. If I call him, he's there to help me out as well. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I haven't heard from him, but I know he's still training out there.
Well, great. Mark, talk to us a little bit in our last few minutes that we have with you. Talk to us about your gym, the Rain Training Center out in California. I think you guys just celebrated your first year anniversary. Talk to us about kind of your experience there and how it's been for you so far.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm totally blessed to be able to have this facility. It's combined. It's a 23,000 square foot facility with a full weight room, 5,000 square foot weight room, a 5,000 square foot turf room where you have your circuits, your functional lifts and everything like that. And then it has an MMA facility directly next door. It's just amazing. You have around, I'd say about 2,200 square feet of mat for wrestling and jiu-jitsu. You have a cage in there. You have 20 bags. So it's just awesome facilities for to learn mixed martial arts. And it's a blessing to be able to have it, like I said, and it's great to be able to have the guys that I have on my team make me better every day. And I'm just people would die to be in my shoes, man. I love it. I wake up every day just feeling blessed, and it's great.
Yeah, you got to be excited when you're pumped every day to go to work. So, well, Mark, I got one more question for you. You're known as one of the nicest guys in MMA. I've spent some time with you, and you've been nothing but nice to us. But is there anyone out there that you just want to punch in the face? I mean, anyone out there that you want to fight?
Not really, man. I don't, man. For me, I treat people the way I want to be treated. I don't hate anybody. I seriously don't have anybody in mind, man. I really don't. When you ask me that, I don't have anybody in mind that I just want to punch.
Right on.
I don't. So.
All right, thanks, Mark. While we're closing up, figure give you a second to tell people how to follow you online. What's the best way to do that?
So you can hit me up on Twitter. Mark_Munoz is my handle. You can go on Facebook. You can add me up on my fan page as well. Look me up there, and you can go to my website, markmunoz.net, or markmunozmma.com. Check me out there. And if you're in the South Orange County area, come to my gym. Check out our website at traintoreign.com. That's TRAIN2REIDN.com. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Form Athletics, Giant, and Toyo Tires. Those tires for helping me out. I'd like to thank my whole team from Rain Jameson and Team MMA. You guys are awesome. I'd like to thank Keaton and Hannah Gracie over at the Gracie Kennedy for getting me ready for this fight. And, man, just like to thank you guys for having me on the show.
No problem.
Absolutely. Thanks again. We're speaking to the Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz. You can follow him at twitter.com/Mark_Munoz. Mark, thanks again for taking the time to speak with us, and best of luck this weekend, bud.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for joining us today on the MMAnonstop.com podcast.
MMAnonstop.com, the first place for news and notes online. MMAnonstop.com, the fight starts here.